So this is March 14th, 2024. As town clerk, I'm going to call the meeting to order so that the select board can reorganize. So floor is open for nominations for chair.
I nominate Kevin Eaton for chair. Select board.
Hey,
I'll second it.
perfect. That is fantastic.
Any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
You're in charge.
That is fantastic. Okay.
The buzz.
Okay, welcome everybody to the meeting. Folks online, I don't know how they are. Okay, so elect,
Tim and Jerry are on now. Okay.
is that all we have is,
For right now.
okay,
No, not.
okay, so. Elect chair is all done. Setting regular monthly meeting.
Yes.
Second Thursday of. Oh, second Thursday
April.
Normally the second
of
Thursday.
April.
month at
Yeah.
7.
So can I make a motion to set our meetings?
Usually what we do is we go down through all of these things
Oh,
and make a motion at the
okay.
end to
Got it.
cover whatever it is that you wanted to do.
Designate,
So the question is, sometimes there's more than one meeting a month. There's been a
Right.
few years we ended up with 2 meetings a month, whether you want to do that
we may have to,
now, or if you just want to set it at one meeting, that's what you're organizing for.
let's go through the list. Huh?
It depends on the month, it seems.
It does, there's a lot.
If we have to do like a
Some-
special meeting, we can just do that,
You
right?
can do a special
Yeah.
meeting.
So do you want to just go through the list and figure it out?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
So now it's gonna be the second meeting, the second Thursday.
yep. Designate signer for bills and orders.
I suggest the chair.
That's typically what it's been is.
I'm good with
has been Jim.
Newspaper of record Rutland Herald.
We don't have another one, do
We don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Adopt Robert's rules for small boards.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Do you have to make a motion on that or just,
At the end, we're gonna.
We can do it, okay.
move For everything that you're gonna adopt tonight.
appoint overweight truck permit signer? That's usually me.
That was you for the last couple of years. You willing to do it again?
Yep. Appoint member to community center board.
I'm on there currently. I'm willing to continue serving.
Perfect. Appoint member to Timoth Milfoil Project Board.
Melody, you want that one?
I could be on that one.
We're getting you home.
Yeah.
Appoint liaison to the Rutland County Sheriff's Department. That's been me. I guess I can continue doing that. Appoint member to the website committee.
I'm already on that one, willing to continue.
Adopt and select the board meeting rules and procedures policy. I would like to review that and possibly do that next month. If that,
I'm okay with that.
okay,
Now you need a motion to. Do everything we just decided to do.
So I make a motion that we adopt all the items and the last item, adopt select board meeting rules and procedures policy. We table to and review and decide on the next meeting.
I will second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. That went easy.
Mhm.
So far. Did everybody review the agenda?
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe a suggestion would be, that we rearrange a little bit so that Greg doesn't have to
Yes.
sit through all of our town business.
Yep,
That's all right with you?
Yeah, I can make it fast.
yeah.
And the other thing is, we have other people that might want to speak to the board about something, so
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, I think
at some
that
point.
we can expedite the needs assessment talk, but probably not so much that it wouldn't be a hold up for everyone else here. So
yeah,
if I had to give it, I'd probably put myself behind everyone else who's here, but I'm not sure.
or if you wanna sit through
You're gonna be a bit,
highway and all that type of thing.
I'm okay with it.
okay,
So we do have,
so I reviewed the minutes from the last meeting, are we good with that?
The only question I had, there was a handful of question marks. I didn't know
Yeah.
if Gail had a question about that or.
The wrong version then.
Oh,
yeah, I was
I think
looking,
it was question mark. I was trying to figure out, remember what Greg's last name was.
okay.
oh, yeah, I put expand next to that one. I was like, what?
Can't remember what it was now, but okay. as
Yeah,
long as
to
it's been
do, on the
resolved.
to-do list, yeah,
On the to-do list.
in the minutes.
Yes,
Mhm.
list of ordinances and then a bunch of question marks.
Right, I was gonna go look and see what you and Kevin had offered to help me do.
Okay.
But I didn't find that, so I put something else in there. In this version, I think you gotta catch your mind.
Yeah.
In your packet is the right version.
No, it still has question marks in my file.
Mine does.
What did you say? No, yes, you do.
Oh.
Oh,
Do list, yeah.
Yeah.
there's
I didn't even,
question marks there.
went right over those.
So let's strike the question marks.
Okay, okay, that works for me. Did you move to approve that or?
I didn't do one,
I move that we approve the minutes as noted.
removing the question marks,
Yep.
Second,
all in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Citizens input,
I'll go
I'll
first.
do the- Dan wants to talk.
I just, I'm following those roads over there.
yes,
And, you guys aren't happy with the price and everything.
seems a bit excessive,
Well, it doesn't seem a bit excessive if you guys voted on it before, so. When we came last time, we had two, there was two bids and you voted.
correct.
Elected us, so, you know.
So there was two bids.
Mhm.
You got the bid because you were the cheapest.
Right,
I think the amount that's being done is excessive.
Well, I'm only doing it when it's necessary. And the way I look at it, is my name, my insurance, somebody gets hurt on that road. You guys are gonna be looking at me. And I just,
Well, I mean, it's,
I'm not
it's,
gonna do it unless it's necessary.
we did a contract with you, so it
Yeah,
is what it is. I
Yeah, I
mean,
know,
Right.
but it's just, it seems like, you know, we compare it to our guy that does our dirt roads. It seems you're doing your part over there more than Ronnie's doing our dirt roads. I would figure it would jive,
I mean, it may snow over there and not here, like you guys got more snow over here the other day
right,
than what we did over there.
right.
I mean. I feel like I'm doing a good job, I just feel.
No, we've heard you're doing a great job.
You guys aren't happy with the price, but there's nothing I can do with that.
It's so. I noticed a few times where we had a storm, you plowing sand, and then you'd be sanding the next day. What's, how,
I mean,
refreezes at night, every.
I'm not gonna sand it unless it needs it.
It can freeze up overnight. We've done it multiple times too. We have to go right out the next day and do it again because.
McCoy Road is kind of shaded,
Mhm.
so that it stays colder in there.
okay. I mean, we budgeted for $6,800 and I know it was, I. 6,800 is,
Well, when was the last time that was raised?
what do you mean?
Well, you're
We don't-
We haven't spent that.
We haven't spent that much. We
Well,
never spent
but
that
that-
much.
10
But
years, we haven't spent that.
Right, you had the same person doing it for 10 years and they didn't, we know who they were and they didn't charge what
It-
is
it
out
varied-
there.
It varied from year to year, depending on how
Right.
many times it plowed the
I
city.
mean,
but
the
It never got.
the past
60.
year. Frank did it for like $1,500 or something. That's
Yeah,
why,
yeah.
I mean, that's,
And it is what it is. I mean, Salem's been in the business for 30 years. He is professional. It is what it is. But also, you're not gonna get anybody to do it for, what'd you say, Frank did for 15, you're not gonna get
I
that.
don't know, I don't know. what that
And-
1,500 to-
Yeah,
And I get that, I guess. The numbers were a shock.
well, I think.
When
it
they
was sticker
first
shock,
started.
And I think I have discussed that with Dale too, but yeah, I think that,
But it's also in the past years, when Phil Hayes did it, it was your salt.
Yep,
And this year's my salt.
sand,
My
salt,
sand.
salt and sand.
Yeah.
Sand.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, that.
And I've-
Salt's 140 a ton.
Mhm.
You know, I'm not saying you gotta pay the full shop, or
right, it's just something that,
And I don't think we'd be sitting here, because like you say, we're in a contract, it was all okay, and we discussed it, and
right,
most likely you guys are going, oh my gosh, and we probably won't be there next year, but we're hearing a few things and sales.
no, and
Yeah,
I've been I was gonna come and see you, and I just,
yeah.
I just didn't.
life kind of got in the way of that. So it's just something that we need to look at. I mean, we need to. Where are we at now? With it, as far as,
It's in your. Between the.
You know, for 11.
Yeah, I should have added it before I came out.
so. So if we're at, say, we're just shy of 12 grand,
I do-
we're more than double what we. So I guess,
But you haven't, that same person.
right, so we just need to. And I understand we have a contract with you, we just need to get through this year and revisit it. Because that's a lot. And I know you're doing a great job, because I've heard you're doing a great job. It is a lot. For us to handle financially for what little bit it is, I guess. So it's just, we need to figure this out.
We need to do a cost analysis. of what-
Yeah,
what would
yeah.
Make it smart for the town of
Mhm.
Tiverton, but,
Yep.
Right.
I just didn't want anybody to say that,
Oh, no,
I'm
no,
here- I'm here on the.
right,
Oh, no.
no, I've been hearing that you guys, you did a great job.
Mhm.
So I just, but the money aspect of it is what we need to.
Right, and it was an
Okay.
easy winner as well.
Oh, yeah,
And
I think Phil Hayes did it for years, and he just did it for that certain amount, and then Frank did it for 1 year or something. And
Yeah, for a
that was
couple.
for $1,500, and I'm thinking, I think it needs to come off,
Mhm.
We weren't be done for $1,500.
Right.
We had budgeted 68, but it varied over the last 10 years, sometimes it was 4, sometimes it was 5, sometimes it was 6.
Mhm.
It depended on the year when Phil and
Yeah.
at one point Frank was working for Phil.
Mhm, yeah. And we did pick up other jobs that those people had done, and
Mhm.
it's sticker shock all around. So
Okay.
they were just.
Well,
giving
you
other
get,
people a lot of good deals.
Right, and. You get used to it, because so. We haven't had anybody that actually did this for a business. So you get used to what you pay, and then when you start getting hit with what the cost, I guess. Maybe closer to what it actually should be, it is, yeah. It was a lot,
Yeah.
so next year, we're just gonna have to revisit it and see what's feasible for
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
going forward. If we put it back out to bid and we're not getting, and it seems to be what the price is gonna be, let you know, and it is what it is, and have you come back and rebid it, so.
Yep.
But we are gonna look at what we can,
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I just didn't want to say,
Right.
because it's right across the board, because before I put on bid on anything, he's got the expertise, and I do all the, and
right,
and
Yep.
That is a going price.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think to be clear, we're not, bad mouthing.
No, yeah, no, not
At
at all.
all, yeah,
No.
I
Yeah.
get that, I get that.
Yeah.
And what's, the price is a big shock. I get
Mhm.
that.
yeah.
Yep. So,
She did it for like 30, before you even had quite a bit on this. And it was 30 of them, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And she says, you're looking at $18,000.
Oh,
I said,
easy.
that's way too much money.
Yeah,
That's why I come on that paper and I said, I'll do it for 12.
right,
yeah, he was nicer than I was.
Right,
But,
right,
but yeah, because when I do all that, I break down all our other commercial accounts and everything, and I took a look at these 4 different, so what I came up with, it will really be between 18 and 23,000. Based on the last 30 years of storms and everything. So,
Wow.
you saying the 12,000, but you hit us with a number. And we're still
Yeah.
used to paying
Yeah.
3-ish grand.
Yeah. Mhm. Right.
You-
Mhm.
Yeah, so, but it is the taxpayer, so we do have to look
Oh,
at,
yeah.
so we do have to look at it.
Okay.
So, okay, thank you very much. for-
Yeah,
No problem.
Appreciate you coming,
Yes, thank
all the
you.
work. yeah.
Yes. Yep,
You wanna go?
okay.
I can really- Yes, I just don't-
Don't have to. I just felt that I had to go over and talk to you guys. And
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Well,
very much appreciate
Yeah,
it.
I had 3 different
Yes.
people tell me, and I'm like, I
So-
don't, I know the sticker shock, but I
Yeah.
just was hoping you weren't saying anything about state
No.
work.
Oh, no.
While they're here, to say it was an easy winter, yes.
Yes,
But when you're out there, a 2-inch storm is the same as a 2-foot storm. You know what I mean? It's the same amount of work.
Yeah.
Right,
So, and we had a lot of those
Thank you.
little
Yes, I
Yeah.
pain in the ass
yeah,
hmm
things, you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
just, it's the same amount,
right,
Yeah,
you know, it really
well
is.
said, yeah, it is.
So
Yeah.
it's not really fair
Mm,
to judge people on this winter,
right,
Okay.
you know?
right.
got it.
But it may end up being that, when next season rolls around and we're tossing this around again, it may be where we should be, so I don't know.
We'll rebid and
Yes.
we'll bid again and see.
Yeah.
All right,
Yes,
thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate
So
it.
much.
Okay. Sherry,
I have citizen input. I just want to call, people's attention to a mistake that was in the town report. In the town report, it said that I had resigned from the E&I committee and then I later was reappointed. I didn't resign. I declined to be reappointed and I feel for me, those words are make a big difference. Resigning means you quit in the middle. Declining to be reappointed means that you did your job and you don't want to continue. So I just want to bring that, I just would like that in the record. Thank you.
Noted.
okie dokie. You're up.
Okay, so Cliff Notes version, we've been plowing snow and playing with ice, and I think we're on mud season 10 for this year.
Yeah, probably
Now,
10 more to
it
go.
Might be 11, I'm not sure. So we're patching things as they, pop up. We're out patching potholes, we're patching soft spots and, all that happy stuff. The grader cylinder that we were having problems with is apart, repacked, back together
Yes.
and functional. I put that out today for a little while and did some work on Timoth Pond Road and Merrill Springs Road. Just some tune-ups.
You came up my road too last week?
I was with the loader.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a little bit up there with the loader. So that's that part. Just so if anyone asks, there is some damage to the new pavement on Route 140.
I see
I saw
that.
The road crew was not involved with that at all. I called Tom Mr. Fuller, have him come up and look at what it's gonna take to fix that. And then we'll decide where we wanna send the bill. As to,
Was that Amazon truck?
that was an Amazon truck with Earl's pulling it. Earl's was in front, I'm assuming with gnarly biter chains on
Mhm.
and pulled it out of the ditch. And then he must have got off the road again.
Mm-hmm,
Up
he
by
did. Up
the
through, yes,
swamp. And then he was off the road again
Up.
on North End Road.
yeah,
Up on the bank,
yeah,
like. He shouldn't have driven away from that one. He was in town for at least. 3.5 hours. It took him to get through.
3 of it off the road,
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it's only 6 miles of road.
yeah. So it sounds like that's probably gonna be an Earl's issue,
I'm assuming,
but yeah, that sounds like a plan.
I don't know what it's gonna take to fix it, so I
Right,
don't, I mean, if
it's
it's
pretty
something
gnarly.
simple and easy. You know, if there's something we can. Buff in there and it'll be fine, I don't really know that, I think probably the right thing is to gouge it out and.
Yeah, I would say probably box cut and grind it, but I didn't really, I noticed it as I was pretty much over it.
Yeah,
But I gotta go that way tomorrow, so.
yeah, well,
I
Better go
noticed it was
down.
pretty gnarly,
it's, yeah, when things started to clear up that day, I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
Stopped back up, I'm like, oh my.
yeah.
So that was not the road crew, we were not involved with that. The only other thing I got for you is I think we should sign the paperwork on the new truck equipment. Like pretty soon. Because we're gonna be. We can't kick that down the road too far. We've already done it like 3 months now, so we probably should do it sooner than later and just get,
On it,
we should just sign the paper and then if. you know,
signing it does not bind us to anything.
No,
It
if
just
we have
puts
a
us in
budget-
the loop.
If we have a budget that fails, they just tear up the paperwork and throw it.
Okay.
Cause
So,
somebody else will buy it.
right, it's just a slot at this point
Yeah.
to them and they're buried. So that's why we're gotta get in line this far out.
Yep,
So. I think we should sign it and get it back to them just so we're locked in
to something.
to something. Our spot is there for us.
And is the paperwork all ready?
Yes, we have a. We have a quote.
Mhm.
For it.
Is that something that Viking emailed me or did you email it to me?
I think Viking emailed both of us. While she's looking for that, I'll continue on the list. Here. Risk assessment report. We haven't done a heck of a lot on that. We got just a couple of small things to do still. There's nothing, I mean, I gotta put toe kick boards on the mezzanine.
Mhm.
And I think there's one other thing that's not that big of a deal. So I have to look back at that. The quote for the security system, we have one from. Yeah, Countryside.
Yep,
Royal is only open like 2 days a week.
cutting back,
And
huh?
they're only open like half a day on one day.
Well,
So he did email me back and he wants to come look at the building. Then he'll give us a quote too. So I'm waiting on. I just saw his email this afternoon because I emailed them. They were actually open from noon to 3 yesterday and I got a hold of somebody, or noon to 5. So I'm working on the other quote for that. The highway to-do list, I'm also working on that. I can, have something ready for you for the next meeting for this is our summer to-do list is what we're looking for here.
yeah, I think it's just a general,
Scope of work for the summer,
yeah.
I got it, I just gotta put pen to paper, I'll have it for you.
So
Can we go back just a second?
Yep.
On Monday when you come in, can we go through this so I can review it to send it back to Wade?
Yep.
So we know what's what and what you did.
what in the to-do list update, have we gotten any update on the saw?
No. Not since last
Not
meeting,
since last meeting, when they said it would be the end of spring.
yeah,
You
so I will put that on my list to call him again too. No. He's, well. I'll leave it at that, I'll call Don.
okay,
I know I got crack sealings on the list.
Yep.
Hopefully this tree, grant comes through, that'll be on the list for this summer. Typical paving, I'd like to do, Pent Road. There's
Yep.
a. We're gonna turn that from a Y to a T like we've been doing on the other intersections. And there's a connected segment right there going toward the class 4 section of the Gulf Road.
yep,
So we're gonna do a bunch of stuff there. So we wanna work on the turnaround on Pent Road too, cause it's kind of mucky. And this year it's really mucky.
Mm,
So we'll dig out some stuff and put some decent material in there. Got a couple trees so we can turn around. So we'll be up there for bet you a couple weeks by the time we get done. But I'll put that on paper. I know there's some other things on there that I want to put in there too. So I'll have that for you next meeting. If that's okay.
yes,
And that's about all I got for you.
Do we need a motion to sign the truck paperwork or?
Probably. I'm still trying to find it, I can't.
See,
that's the day I've had, so.
Oh,
I forgot about it too. I was like, oh, we better do this. I may have it right here somewhere. Should have.
I thought the board didn't probably have to authorize that, but maybe it was the.
We talked about it a lot. I
Yeah.
just don't
Yes.
remember if we
Good.
made a motion or not.
yeah,
We said,
Then
we'll
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 discuss
worry
it
about that
before.
at the next meeting. That's
Yeah.
3 meetings ago, so.
Kicking the can down the road.
Good read.
No, you don't do that here.
Sure. Yeah,
What you're talking about.
that's tomorrow.
Here, the ones 97.8, is that the right one?
It's the newest one.
What's that saying? Why do today what you can put off until tomorrow? I live by that.
11.9. 99.7.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Luckily, I saved it in the select board stuff from November of 2023.
Yeah.
Oh. The culvert is ordered for Patriots too.
Oh, good deal.
Should have been on my list. That was about 4 different phone calls by the time I get done for it.
And when's that expected in?
I don't know. It depends on material and lead times and whether they can get the material or not,
Who are we getting that from?
flame.
It's the right one, it's 99.7.
Yep, I believe so.
The other one was 97.9, I think.
That's the right one.
That's ordered for.
We all signed it.
No,
The dump body, the plow. And
Yes.
then- That's supposed to be best.
you want to take you, Judy?
Sure.
Take a peek.
Have some more sticker shock.
Yes.
It's the dump body, the plow, the wing.
Yeah, plow, wing,
Yeah, that's everything.
and, yeah, lights, the
all the equipment.
spread of cameras.
Yep,
Man,
yep. Okay.
yeah, what else you gonna say?
Do you have a
Okay.
dash cam? Is the camera a dash cam on there?
No, there's a backup
Backup
cameras.
cameras?
And,
Mhm.
there's one in the bed. There's one in the back behind you, and there's one on the feed box.
Okay.
So you can see what's going on without. If you have a plug up or something, you can see what's happening. It's kind of all right there. We may want to think about doing some dash cams at some point. I have definitely thought about it.
Yeah,
They're inexpensive enough now, so. It may get us out of a jam someday if we had.
Yeah, I put one in Karen's house,
They're on-
$30.
Yeah,
Really, that's cheap.
$30, thing's awesome, you can review the card and everything. Yeah,
So is somebody gonna move to approve this?
Yeah.
Ordering this to the trust?
okay, I will make a motion to approve signing the order for the new truck.
I will
For
second
the
that.
new, or new equipment.
New equipment for the truck.
Yeah.
that'll scare you again in July.
Mhm.
And that was what, for 99.7, right?
Yes.
Anybody second it?
I seconded it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Do I sign this or do you?
You signed. it.
Oh, I do.
You chair the select board. Richard, head on, chopping.
Right there with you.
They're also live before.
Oh, I'm liable for the cost? Okay, no problem.
Richard.
Just hang on to it for a couple of years. I promise it'll be good in
Oh.
2 years.
No.
I signed it
Mr.
wrong.
Chair
twice.
is accepted by,
Oh,
it's nice if you just sign it at the bottom of the page, but. I should have put a little sticky note there. There you go.
okay.
I'm just curious, you went to go look at the road, you were gonna go look at the road from the.
Yeah, I
left?
actually want to look at it again now that the snow's gone.
Yeah.
Walk it again, because some of the bank was still covered with snow, and I'm a little curious
Sure.
if now, if you can see if there's sloughing going on, because I don't entirely understand why some of it has seems to have settled as much as it has.
Yeah.
Let me know when you want to do it.
Okay. Depends on if we get more snow between.
Well, I was telling Gail the other day, we were sitting, well, Harrington Crossroad, we were sitting on the flat stretch. Right there, waiting, and the sat truck came up through Crampton's Woods. And the big one, over this way, and when he went through there, you saw that,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Oh, Lanfear's truck.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, there's a lot of lean there.
Yeah, 'cause that one spot you measured was 12, just about 12%, which
Wow.
is a little outside of.
10% more than it should be.
he's also putting a massive load on that
Yeah.
thing. Way more than what he should
It's
be.
really high too,
Extremely top heavy.
yeah, he's lucky he hasn't. went over the bank.
Yes,
Yeah.
That red one?
yes. He's putting way too much in that.
No
Is that a
bad.
baffle tank?
No.
No,
That isn't.
No. no. He'll be baffled when it goes over.
Wow, that happened.
Right,
If it's not totally full,
yeah.
it'll go.
Yeah, it might be a week or two. I have VOSHA training tomorrow and then next Friday. I'm hoping to run
OSHA training. Good luck with that.
mandatory VOSHA training. It's been a while.
Is it a 10 or a 30?
It's a 4.
What?
Yeah, I was a little shocked by that
4
too.
hours?
Yeah, that's all there. The 8 hour is scary. I can
The
only
30
imagine.
the 30 hours.
Okay. You're up. Greg,
Greg, it's your turn.
wake up, wake up.
So. Paper copies of this thing. I'm not sure if you. Remember back to. Last time Devin met with you, so I've met with the planning commission and recreation committee more recently, but I've been trying to get the community needs assessment finalized, and have, so you already.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, you got a
Yeah, we
copy.
have copies. We
Okay,
haven't
cool.
seen them yet. We're good.
Well, anyway,
I sent them the one with
Mhm.
the updated recreation committee
that's great, okay, yeah,
questions.
so. I mean, it seems like this is the busiest time of year for you, but if you have had a chance to look this over,
Yep.
do you have any edits, suggestions, additions, subtractions to this document right now? I mean, I think the idea here, I think the intended idea for funding for this program was for, this needs assessment to kind of identify a project to move forward with for municipal technical assistance program funding. But I think what the planning commission and the recreation committee have kind of made this survey into is probably something that's gonna be more valuable for the town, which is like polling everyone, like, the first section here is like, what values that are written in the town plan do you like most feel are
Right.
important? Which is something that seems like a great thing to have information on. Because it tells you like where everyone's at. And then,
Can I interrupt you just for a
Yeah.
second?
of course,
The questions have to do with the objectives from the first town plan. I'm only saying that because Marshall was here for the first town plan, so they're asking people to rate the same objectives.
yes, these were written over 30 years ago, I believe. And so this is like feeling out, population now feel the same way as, the population then that was, cohesively writing these objectives. And that's something the planning commission felt was important to put in there.
Right,
and
30 years
It's a
ago.
1 to 5 scale, most important, or I don't find this important.
And this is how our plan is written, it's geared towards what,
Right, planning commission, this is a survey.
what they came up with
Yeah.
30, 40 years
Right.
ago, so.
Yeah,
People say, oh no, I want it to look like Rutland City, then.
Let's see.
Right.
Did we even make them move?
it's usually updated. But I think one of the interesting things about the Timoth Town Plan when it was first written was that it was written with like, I think there was a meeting with almost everyone in the town when they wrote it, and they really knocked out exactly what everyone cared about and put it in there, which is great. That's ideally how these things should be written, but usually it's less of an effort than what Timoth did 30 years ago.
Right, and what I was trying to tell you is the gentleman behind you was the chair of the planning commission when that all happened.
From when it started.
From
for
17,
the next 37 years.
1974.
From the 1700s.
1974.
So
Mm.
I think that my guess would be that people who are new to Timoth are moving here because they feel that these values line up with what they
Right,
believe in. So it's probably that they're still very in line with it, but it would be interesting to find that out, and that's something that the planning commission was supporting. They're also looking at the question about utilities, which is actually kind of relates back to what you were just talking about earlier in this meeting, which is, what's more important for you at the salt and sand shed, the transfer station, like, you want to have higher capacity for salt storage or more recycling options, and like that's a space prioritization question there. And I'm not sure if people would necessarily have strong opinions on that. Is it something that's
some may, some
some
might not.
yeah,
Without
yeah.
more information, right, it's kind of hard
Yeah.
Yes,
to make
Yeah.
that decision if you don't know that the salt
Right.
shed could cost you
$1 million.
$1 million.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
that's probably
yeah,
there.
we don't have that number yet.
Yeah,
either,
and I don't think
so,
this question really like implies that a new salt and sand shed is even being considered there. But it's more like,
Space usage.
space usage, and I think the more involved you are in local, like, governance of the town, the more you'd have an opinion on that. And maybe some people just wouldn't understand what that means.
Well,
But it's still probably
I mean,
pretty useful there.
in order to form an opinion on space usage,
Yep,
I think that building size, price, everything is gonna come into play with
Yeah.
that. To decide something like that.
Although I don't think that, I mean, just from my understanding, Timoth isn't really actively considering changing the building size of that space, right?
No, we
We're
actually are
looking at-
going with Dubois
Yep.
and King.
Oh, okay,
Building a salt stand shed, we're in the
Okay.
preliminary stages,
okay,
but yeah, preliminary estimate is
Yep.
close to $1 million.
yeah, it's gone through the roof in recent years, so.
Right.
But, you know, it's
we
necessary
just-
facility.
We just bonded for the town garage, so,
Okay,
you know, how much can we afford for
yep,
a town of less than 600 people?
yeah.
Yep.
And
question.
like, maybe this is a good time to touch upon like the other purpose of this same program. So the program that's funding, you know, this, which is from the planning commission's perspective, this is extremely cheap to produce, you know, this is, it's a survey, you know, and like,
Right.
it can be valuable information, but there's not a lot of money going into it, but this same state program, can allow the town to get studies done, engineering studies or planning studies, or even have, the planning commission write grants on behalf of town Timoth to potentially bring in more money for projects that you see as priorities. It doesn't guarantee that we would win the grants. I think a lot of different towns in the region are eligible for this program and have expressed ideas in a bunch of different directions. So it's to like, oh, we'd like you to write a grant for this project or that project. Some of them fit better into, you know, grant programs that are out there. Some of them are gonna be more difficult to get funding awarded to them. But at the end of the day, this is kind of a unique opportunity to access all this like post coronavirus money that's still hung up in the state government. So if there are any particular engineering studies or planning studies that would be really valuable for Timoth to have done, what we can do at the regional planning commission is basically make a request to the state to see if they're willing to fund that directly through the municipal technical assistance program. I'm not sure what stage of like pre-development planning you're at with the salt and sand shed, but it's possible if you haven't gotten a design done for it yet, this is something that could probably pay for that.
We are already, we have a $300,000 TAP grant,
Okay,
and the regional commission has been hired to manage that for us.
oh, is that the municipal project manager, Stephanie?
Yes,
Mhm.
Okay.
right,
Well,
so we've
Well,
got
that project's
taken
covered
care of.
then,
It's-
okay.
We've
Yeah.
engineered it a couple of times and it's,
Okay, that's probably beyond, you know, something we want to be. have
right,
trouble with
and
that,
the select board was told that, you know, we got the $300,000 grant and we've got $175,000 to match it.
Yep,
Most we can get on the next round of the grant would be 200,000.
Oh.
So the state caps it at 500,000. And
And
we have our
estimates.
175, we're still $200,000 or $300,000 short
yep,
of building this facility, so.
yep.
Dubois and King is supposed to be trying to come up with a better solution for us.
Okay.
And we're waiting for them. I asked Stephanie about an update and she hasn't heard anything from them, so it's. It's an ongoing thing, but it's,
Yeah. I mean, it seems like. Yeah, it's difficult with the extreme rise in construction costs and materials costs. But, and maybe for this program here that, you know, the only thing that you feel is necessary or desire out of it is this like assessment here. And, you know, this would be useful. But I just wanted to put that out there that there is the opportunity to pursue other things and I can make requests to the state to, you know, see if they would fund, you know, the creation of some sort of engineering plan or study. If there's something it's something that makes sense. And there might not be, you know, but just want to throw it out there. And the kind of drop dead deadline for that is June 30th, so the end of this fiscal year. That's when we can't really make requests anymore. And all that funding is reserved to towns on a first come, first served basis. So I know at the very beginning of this year, this calendar year, January, there were no towns that had any. There was like one town that had an approved project, and then now I think there, you know, at least 30 towns. So it's
what
kind
kind of projects are you doing?
I mean, honestly, this is a fairly disorganized program. and it's especially, you can tell by like the, you know, kind of ad hoc approval of different things that's going on. But a lot of towns are using it for like a simple town plan update. I know that up in the Northeast Kingdom, there are a lot of towns are using it for land surveys. And then in this region, there's been a lot of interest expressed in like putting solar on municipal buildings. That a couple of towns doing that. A couple of towns are trying to help with the maintenance of wastewater lagoons. Then there's some, you know, recreation related projects like building a pavilion in a town plot of land. And it's not necessarily the case that all these things, some of them, when they're just like a town plan update or
So these are requests or these are things that are actually being covered?
the town plan updates and surveys have been covered. And then everything else is kind of happening right now they're going under review and have been preliminarily approved. So, yeah, I mean,
But you have a June 30th deadline.
yep, yeah, and so we're kind of butting up against that pretty soon there. Yeah, you'd be right to like be questioning like how fast we can get this to be.
When ideally do you
finalized.
want to
It's our
get this
deadline.
survey out?
For the survey itself, hopefully, in the next few weeks, but, I wanted to, you know, get your review of it and then I heard from Gail that the planning commission wants to look at it again and,
Maybe
with,
next week.
yeah, that'd be next week and then with their last look at it, then if you're okay with it, then we would start kind of publicizing it after that. And what that would look like would probably be putting a small ad in the newsletter, and then putting up some flyers in public spaces such as here, the school, the community center. And then also having a stack of paper copies of the survey here, so people, if they want to take it from their computer, they can, you know, access it that way. If they want to take it on paper, they can pick up a copy here.
Is it possible to mail it in the Tales of Timmins? It's a bulk mailing,
Is that
so it doesn't, I mean,
Is that-
it would be, everybody would get a paper copy
Yeah, I
that
think
would mean
that it's
somebody has to-
possible.
of the ones that get sent back. Somebody's gonna have to input them.
Yep. Yeah, and I could be the one to input that. I'd be fine doing, you know, the legwork, just tallying up all the answers.
So what we'll need to do is have it designed so that they can fold it up and put a stamp on it and send it back. Or drop it off or something.
Yeah, so is the bulk mailer you're talking about, is that in an envelope or is that?
It's
It's folded and
initially.
Yes, folded 8.5 by 11, which is the postage nomenclature on the.
We mail things in it. Because this is what goes out. into the- we do inserts inside it, and inserts usually could stay. So it would just be a loose insert, and there would be something on the front page or on the back page. It says,
Yep.
please find and close this survey. You can scan the little.
Yeah, I mean, that would be
so
great.
you
I can,
You can have that.
okay.
The
So-
Regional Commission gets one, by the way.
Alright.
I don't know if you see them there or not. But that would be one
Yep.
option that
Mhm.
the Tales of Timoth goes to everybody that lives here and everybody that owns property here.
Okay,
And
well, that's
other people
perfect. Yeah.
besides people that used to live here, so.
Yep. So, yeah, I'll add that to the list of, that would cover everyone. When's is that first of the month that goes out, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be good. What we should do.
Like April 1st, potentially. Do you have any major edits to this, kind of draft document? Yeah, okay.
And we could print that here. The Regional Commission doesn't have to make us copies, but we could print it off here
I don't know, I mean,
if need be.
we can
Well,
print
it's
it,
520 copies.
yeah. And, you know, that's part of the costly survey that we could cover, so.
Okay, that's good.
So yeah, the agricultural part, I mean, I know that Timoth wants to stay bucolic and all that, I think that's great, but I think that agriculture is changing too, as far as smaller farms, vegetable farming.
Yep.
Don't need a whole lot of acreage to be a big vegetable farm. So, you know, and about having you know, we already have an active, farm store in town. And so how, you know, I know there was talk at one point about the creamery maybe being a farm store hub and things like that. And I think the admin is really the missing piece with that. It takes a lot of coordination and a lot of, you know, we're finding that this region has a lot of good farming and a lot of, produce that is made, but there's other pieces like eggs and things like that that are harder to find.
Yeah.
You know, and things like that. And so to actually keep your clients coming for what the basics are, it's harder to fill. We,
Yeah.
you know, my daughter's certainly found that out. And so I'm just, that would be just my piece for that, you know, that I don't see another big dairy farm coming into town, you know.
I didn't read it as dairy farm, I read it as.
No,
any
I
type
just,
of
any
farm.
type of farming, I do too, I'm just saying that as things are going, you know, we're getting more back to sheep or goats and things like that, you know, so it's smaller scale
Yeah.
type of farming is what I'm seeing. We've still got a lot of hay farmers though, a lot of hay farmers, so, yeah,
A lot of horses around,
yeah,
Mhm.
a lot of horses around.
Yes,
yeah.
So we
Which-
have
Right now,
suggestions to these particular questions to make them better to get the information that.
I mean, if the planning commission is gonna look at it, then I'd like to maybe review that and tweak things a little bit or make some additions if that's okay. And, yeah,
You can bring your suggestions to the planning
Yeah.
commission.
so I can do that.
That sounds great, yeah, I mean, that would work well,
Yeah.
and I think. Yeah, these questions that were developed by the planning commission, or at least the root ideas of them were, and I think it's just kind of gauging. Again, comes back to gauging people's values and interests, and, you know. About the character of the town.
Right,
So. If they could be made more specific, then that would be more helpful than them, you know.
sure.
That's definitely something. we should, tweak there.
Okay, well, I think it's, yeah, a great
I would,
survey so far.
yeah, I mean, I would caution from adding more questions in this. I think it's already kind of long, I think, for people's attention span with this sort of thing.
well, maybe
Like,
just tweaking the way that some of
Right.
them read.
Or-
Yep,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yep.
I'm not sure if you have things that you think are missing from this, but I think that. It would be, I would caution it getting longer than this.
yeah,
18 questions, and a lot of them are just like, you know, bubble in 1 to 5, right?
Mhm.
Still.
mhm,
Yeah, I think it'll be really helpful for people though, and I think it'll be useful information for the town to have, and I think. Also, just for people taking it, it'll make them think about, you know, what they care about too, which is a valuable exercise.
Mhm.
And the other thing about, you know, other potential projects and stuff, like, just keep it in the back of your mind, I can. Come back to, you know, another meeting later this spring, and if there's something that, you know, jumps up, definitely reach out to me,
mhm.
because, you know, the. Program window is basically open until the June 30th, which is soon, but it's, you know. couple
Right.
months, right,
Yeah.
so.
So it
there's
doesn't have to
time.
be done by then, but we have to have a plan to do something by then,
Yeah,
Is
and.
that right?
Yeah, and really ideally, I would have to know a couple weeks before, because I need to take your idea, write up basically a scope of work for it, send that to the state of Vermont, have them approve it, then come back here and, you know, you would sign off on, yes, this is the project we want to pursue, and that would be, you know, unless for some reason you want to pursue a grant that would require a match, which you do not have to do. Like, whatever the idea ends up being, you know, unless it's that, would not have any cost to the town. So it's an opportunity for some sort of study to be created or something to be done that would not be any extra
Could-
municipal cost.
Could we get a grant to get a speed cart? So people can
I was
see how fast it's going?
just
Oh, I
gonna
was
ask
thinking
that
Old
question.
Cranberry, fix that back wall so it doesn't fall down.
I think it's possible, you know,
Oh, yeah. can we
I think,
get-
like,
can we
we
get money
allotted
for
money
the
for
old
that.
town Building,
uh,
historic.
We allotted money for
We
that.
all.
We,
love it.
we did, but maybe, we maybe use it for something else and
Well.
they'll pay for it.
yeah, I
Right.
think that getting a historic preservation grant for that building would be a great use of that. And like, the first step of that would be, we could hopefully get the state to pay for, all the, you know, site plans and whatever would need to be pre, you know, implementation to occur. And then, you know, even if we didn't end up actually getting a grant, because historic preservation grants are really competitive, you know, you'd still have those plans, which would be, you know, something that you could keep in your back pocket for the future. So that's definitely something that I could
So-
ask
so they-
about.
They are willing to give money to do plans, but not to implement stuff.
Yeah, that's
necessarily.
what
Okay.
it's called, like a
That's
technical assistance program. The thought is that like, they'll pay for all the like pre-development work, and then it's on the regional planning commission to actually apply for a different grant to go get the money to have whatever that, you know, engineering site plan is implemented on the ground. So it's a there's been a lot of criticism of the program for that reason, but from, you know, across the state, to be honest, just because initially they came out with like several specific categories they want people to, you know, find things in, and all those categories just don't fit for, you know, the needs of most of the eligible towns.
When Devin was here, it was for
Yeah.
municipal water, municipal sewer, and it
Yeah.
wasn't for a town that didn't have any of that.
Yeah,
He's just wondering, if you look at 4 and 5, it says maintain a population consistent. Residents of all income ages, and then the next one is about sufficient space. In appropriate location for agricultural. Is there any money that could go into like, soil evaluations where, maybe. Different development size lots could be?
like,
Like, where might the town, if they're gonna change the zoning to a smaller amount, like we talked about the center, but if that was to happen somewhere, we don't know where that could be because of soils, is there any way that a grant could be, you know, look at the best places for agriculture, for housing, for septics?
that's totally possible, and like, that might be the kind of thing that could be funded directly through, you know, state dollars. And I doubt that particular kind of project has been reviewed by, you know, this program before, so I'd have to come and like ask them directly about it. But I definitely could, yeah.
It would help the town and the planning commission,
Yeah.
I mean, to figure out where these things could
Yeah.
be. To not to waste a lot of time changing a zone that won't work.
Right, there's a lot of Tinmouth that is shallow to bedrock,
Yep,
so their development has been limited in some places just because there's no place to put a septic system.
yeah.
But if somebody can, you know, they have maps and stuff now that have soils and things, I don't know, but they would have to travel around town.
Yeah.
Digging test pit holes, but maybe they do, but they would just,
Mhm.
I think they could probably use the existing maps and then have an overlay of some kind that would identify where these places are.
Yeah,
what,
No,
like,
like-
well, I know they have soils maps, but I don't know when the last time they were
But if
updated.
someone was, you know, like Stan Wilbur was saying, if we found a place like for low, moderate or low income housing that could be clustered somewhere that could, you know, have one septic system in a place where it would work. But we don't know where those places are. And if there was somebody that could,
the only thing I would see, other than actually, you know, the state approving or not approving that, which would become difficult here, is generally for that kind of work where you're having soil pits dug, you're gonna need to have a site access agreement in place with the landowner that you're, testing on their land. And that would require, if we're gonna do that across the entire town, getting those agreements from, every single person who would be involved.
But it might
So it'd
just
be
be
kind of
even the
invasive.
existing soil maps and information is there and putting it in a, instead of actually having to dig
That's also
It's
possible.
pretty
That wouldn't be a
detailed.
problem.
already.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that. No
I
one's.
don't- I don't know who your mapper is at the regional commission anymore, I used to know Steve Schild. Might be worth talking to him to see if he thinks there's enough information
yeah, I
that
can
could
run
be
that by.
done, could be gathered by somebody that knows what they're doing to
Yeah.
do that out.
Yeah, Steve unfortunately passed away before I joined the commission, but our new JS person is really good. And, I can run that by him.
That might be a place to start, just
Yeah.
to see if it's,
Yeah, I mean, both those ideas seem like great potential uses for this program. I'm not sure if I can just look into them for you and then, send you all an email back about, what the results of that are. Between those two, just very preliminarily, it's this, I want to get out of here. I don't want to take up too much time in your meeting. But is there one of those that kind of seems like something that you'd be more interested in pursuing? Neither of them would obligate any,
So we can't pursue multiple.
no, yeah, and that's one of the other weird things with this program, is that every town gets one project.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and like this is not the project necessarily because this is like supposed to be a mechanism for identifying the project.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
although I like, where this is gone, seems like it's.
This
more
is
valuable.
probably why you're not getting a lot.
Yep, there's a lot of, it's like confusing and, not efficiently designed program.
So not that, not that this is gonna be the
Yeah.
project either, but if we get deeper into our salt shed project with
Yeah.
Du Bois and King, as we further get into it maybe prior to June 30th, is that something that we could pursue with money wise if we need to or
Yeah, he's
wanted
finishing the
to?
plans or?
I didn't know, I mean,
Um,
or,
I have to ask Stephanie about like what the particulars of that project are.
I just didn't, I was putting it out there.
I assume that the grant funding that's already allocated to that project will probably cover all the plans that are required for it.
I don't know.
I know it, Stephanie's already aware of this program and like there are a couple projects
Okay.
we're working on where like that is the case where it didn't cover all the things and like then we're hoping to kind of use this to pick up the rest of that money. Where that left off. I don't think that's the case with this project, but I can run that by her.
I just figured I'd ask.
Yeah, and I'll ask her. I'm not sure. So,
so what two projects were you thinking we were discussing?
historic reservation project for the structural integrity of the creamery building, and then soil evaluation for agricultural zoning.
Did you wanna pursue the speed cart? That sounds like it might be more feasible than the creamery if that's just a plan to fix it.
I'd like
Is there
to.
a grant that would get us a speed cart?
Traffic
or
I have no
Traffic
idea,
control?
but it's
Um,
possible.
So it'd be a speed cart or speed feedback signs,
Yeah, that would be
same thing,
right, it would be
Kinda,
better to
yeah.
get, to, I think, pursue, see if we could get
cart.
either a speed cart or speed back. We're having trouble controlling people's speeds.
Yep.
But we're told that we wanted to put up a speed feedback sign,
Yeah,
and typically that's just used where there's some construction going on. You don't put it up full time because people just get used to.
Mhm.
Yeah,
moving and
yeah,
you don't
right.
slow them down.
yeah, I'll look into it. I don't know off the top of my head, but it's possible.
And if it can't be, then I guess we fall back onto soil and creamery.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds great, yeah, and, before I, head out, any other comments on this? Seems like we kind of walked through it.
We're all set.
I don't have,
Yeah,
anyone else have any comments?
sounds good.
Yeah, well, thank you for your time.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you very
thank you.
much
Yeah, it was-
for all the work that everybody put into this so far.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
You too. Financial reports.
Yeah, here's a.
Yeah, and I printed them off too, so I have them with me, and I already looked at them, so, yeah.
I'm gonna take a nap.
You ready to take a nap? 8 o'clock.
So is it, so remind me, the revenues on the minuses and the balances are actually
Opposite.
opposite, yes,
that's
okay,
The way the
Yeah.
program works.
okay, yeah.
You don't need one mac, you need water just to go on the septic, it's only 1%. I heard that. You're not the only one.
Good times.
I'm not the only one. Hear that all over town. Barely 1%.
So how long do you boil that for?
100 to 1. 100 gallons is one. Yeah,
So,
2 quarters to a gallon.
I barely ever go to the sugar house, it's too boring for me.
But it keeps you busy. Very busy, yeah.
Keeps them out of trouble.
We boiled over 10,000 gallons of sap and we haven't cleared 100 gallons of syrup.
Mm,
That says something.
I mean, nothing jumps out at me when I was.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
me either. Is what it is, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Where does the money that was voted approved show up for the highway?
Reminds me of the good old days.
Yeah, but
Yes, oh, okay, got it, okay.
I'll see you. Yeah, you know.
Thanks,
have a
Caleb.
good night. Yeah, I mean, no, I'm good with this. I mean, I'm not good with it, but it is what it is. It's incredible what it costs to run a town of 600 people.
Mhm.
We're still looking for the 50 next month.
There's Middletown.
Oh, there's Middletown.
Hmm,
I checked Toby, he was still there.
I keep telling people, Burlington one census had 27 people living on a, according to the census, on a traffic island. Yeah, it's like it was 26.
Well, I don't know, do you wanna
Move on.
move on to approve them, move on? You good with them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
transfer station fees are ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
No, what we have to pay out for that. That's us,
You have to provide
I know,
recycling, you can't charge for it.
I know,
And it costs us more to have the
Yeah.
recycling process than it does trash.
yeah. Yeah, and it doesn't get recycled, that's what, just,
A
Mhm.
lot of it does, and there's there's things out there that says it doesn't, but. There's a lot, I think there's more anecdotes of it not work being recycled than that's true.
All right,
Okay, so what do we make a motion to?
Approve.
Approve.
Orders if you're okay with all the orders.
Yeah, I
that we
don't
pay.
see any issues with boards and others either.
You wanna make a motion for that, or do you want me to?
I don't care. I'll make a motion. We accept, approve the financial reports and the warrants and orders.
I second it. All in favor?
aye.
Cat Yoder, delinquent tax collector.
She's not here. She's got 2 or 3 people she wants to put up for tax sale. They just haven't paid. One is Courtney Carmen and Jeremy Cook. They're more than 3 years behind.
Okay,
One that was way behind was Anita Rogers, but she just paid for 3 years worth, so she's caught up. But she needs to give you the list.
yeah,
Mhm.
Put it on the April agenda.
okay.
I read that sales tax instead of tax sale.
Okay.
How can you have sales tax and a delinquent? Need more than glasses.
Okay, ARPA report.
I didn't get the chance to do it today.
Okay, perfect. Not gonna complain.
So that goes on April.
April, yeah.
And I think that what we probably should do is authorize that money that's gonna be for the Buzz blade.
Yep,
It's coming out of ARPA. It
Yep.
hasn't been spent yet, but transfer it to the equipment fund.
Yep.
So that it gets allocated and we'll, you can transfer money into existing reserve funds. So that's, we put some into the capital reserve fund.
Yep.
If you wanted to do that, that would take care of that, just.
we probably should, just so it's secure in a spot.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So I move that we take some money from ARPA and put it into the equipment fund for the buzz saw blade.
Right, we have an amount for it.
Okay.
20 something thousand. Is it?
I don't remember.
Is the ARPA list in here? Or is it in here?
There are provisions.
Okay,
For a minute.
We'll find it in the minutes if you give me a second.
Yeah, that thing's too old. Guess I need to update my stockpile of paper.
Well, we authorized $64,068 from Salem Farm Supply, and we spent a certain amount, so I can just subtract that amount
okay.
Yep.
till we get to the right one.
I'm going to the library and take a nap, honey.
Thanks for your shame.
It's been a long day.
Been a long couple of days.
1,163.
1,000.
Oh, 20, okay.
1,163 is what it's supposed to be,
Okay.
but. I bet that'll change when it gets here.
I hope not.
Apparently they had to order it. It was supposed to be here in February.
Okay.
You want a motion to allocate that much?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, Judy moved, she just needed.
okay. I'll second it.
You did already, so then we just have to approve it.
All in favor? Aye,
Aye.
perfect. Okay,
So this RAF 2017 grant reimbursement,
Mhm.
that was for the event that happened in July 1st of 2017, and we got some FEMA money. We had more damage that July than we did with Irene. Well, anyways, the state forgot to pay us their share. And They were trying to tidy up some old accounts and close them out, and they found out that they owed us $4,700.
gotta love
I
that.
said, sure, I'll sign that paperwork.
Very nice.
Put that right back to the budget.
That is.
That is awesome.
Mhm. So the
Okay,
common level of appraisal.
I met with Christy Wright, who's our advisor to the listers at
Mhm.
PVR. I talked to her about the redetermination and the sales that they had used and as long as we're gonna get the grand list done, and they did send us a letter that they're gonna accept it, as far as I can tell. We don't have to worry about the CLA, because in the sales that Christy and I talked about, the CLA might actually go down some,
oh,
which would make the taxes go up more. If we continued the redetermination request. So I think I'm asking the board to withdraw the request and,
Might be better for the town overall if we withdraw
Yeah.
the request.
yes,
All right, well, I'd make a motion then that we withdraw the request for the CLA redetermination
and authorize Kevin to sign a letter to that effect.
and authorize Kevin to sign a letter in that effect.
I will second that.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
I was gonna have that letter ready for you tonight, but it didn't get ready. It was pending to be in here today, so. But that's where that stands, because you can look at the sales that happened and, you try to compare them. They took
Yes.
3 years worth of sales, and sometimes you can go before,
Mhm.
which the sales were less, or you go after, and sales since April 1st have gone the other way,
Right,
instead of just being 3/4. Again, they're double of what.
Yeah.
There was a sale at the lake for $5,552.
Yeah.
And we had it assessed at 181.
Ooh,
So overall, I can tell you that the portion of the lake is gonna increase more than the portion of the rest of the town.
Mm.
We better keep the milfoil out of it, so that they'll keep coming.
You keep the value up there, that's,
From what they said, you're not getting rid of the milfoil, you're just gonna
you can't,
control
right,
it.
you
Yeah.
can't get rid of it, you can't
Yeah.
eradicate it, but you can
Yeah.
control it. It makes good compost.
Yeah, cause it's weed free-ish.
Maybe you can find a way to dry it and turn it into cloth like you do Ken with hemp.
Yeah.
Mhm.
okay, old business, traffic ordinance review update.
Oh, that's what I forgot to do was. There's a letter in here from
Yes,
the big cities and towns.
Yep.
About it. It took me several requests to get them to even acknowledge that the select board wanted it to be reviewed. I sent it to County Sheriff's Department, and Lieutenant Gino reviewed it. He thought it was really good, except we needed MMs. And I said, what are MMs? And he says mile markers. as well. How about if we just attach the town highway map? He said that would be good. He thought it was good. I asked Ellie Ewing to review it. She's an attorney. So retiring here to Timber. They have to put the lake in the house. Behind it on Timber Pond Road. And so she did it, but she sent it on some kind of an online review, because she's in Florida, and I couldn't get it to print. I tried to attach it to you guys, and when I went to open it up, it was just blank. Hers was mostly, why do you have brackets here? You know, she just checked it for grammar and that kind of stuff. The league finally said that they would review it, but they had to have specific select board approval. And they think it's gonna cost at least $300.
I thought at most 300. I thought she said it was supposed to take less than 3 hours.
Well, he estimated 3 hours, so
Okay.
it could be. But it's, the select board has to know they won't do a review until, and then they gotta check their time and see when they can do it. Cause I had originally said, we want it done by tonight, and they wouldn't take my word for it.
$100
Yeah.
an hour.
Yeah.
Well, attorneys get $300 an hour.
So I just, is it a benefit to us to have them review it? I mean, is it? Does it give us better legal standing if, God forbid, we end up in court? Is it?
Well, if somebody challenges it, you know, if we've had it reviewed by the league, we use their model, so hopefully
Right.
there's not too much to do. It makes a delay of
Being able to
being
implement it?
able to adopt it. 'Cause
Right.
Once you adopt it, then there's still.
And I'm
legal
fine,
time.
and I'm fine with, I mean, I'm not fine with delaying it,
Yeah.
but it,
But we do have money budgeted for legal that we haven't spent anything with.
What are
Um,
the, I know maybe you said that, sorry, the dates are, what are the dates? I mean, when was this correspondence?
Oh, that was I started in January and this was in February.
Okay,
It was before the town report. And I sent it to them the old way, which is just their info at VLCT. They have this new portal system where you have to go in and sign in and, you know, ask for a ticket and all this kind of stuff. So I did that. Right?
freaking DMV
And I-
online.
And I'm trying to attach the ordinance, right? And there's no place to attach it, so I send them an email, well, I wanna do this, I get an email back. So, does the select board want this reviewed? Yeah. This
Wow.
is the third time, this is how you attach it. So I attached it and he gave it a brief review, Garrett Baxter, and said he thought it wouldn't take more than 3 hours for them to formally review it. I think they probably just checked to make sure the sites are correct for the statutes that it refers to, and
okay,
I mean, our big thing with doing it was the county sheriff saying when they get in court, judges are throwing them out because, well, you don't have all the stop signs aren't listed, or you don't have, you know, the red markings on the pavement, and so the deputies get frustrated with trying to go to court, so what we were trying to do was get it, that's why we had the county sheriff look at it.
And lawyers do have their own language, so, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if they review it and they put it into lawyer speak, it hopefully would carry a little bit more weight.
Might come back and say, yeah, you got it, you did a good job, so I don't know.
Mm.
But
Okay.
I would say it's probably worth
Okay.
$300 just. Cause when
I
we
kind
start
of figured it would
enforcing
be, but,
we start enforcing it, we want it to be.
right,
yeah.
right.
yes.
Cool.
Okay,
Alright.
so we make a motion on that. Okay, so I'll make a motion to have the LCT review the ordinance,
That's it, I'll second it.
the traffic ordinance. All in favor?
I
Who seconded that?
did.
You still ahead because you got $4,000 back.
I know, we just.
Right. What else can we spend that on?
That's gonna go to cover West Timber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
I'm not gonna do it for 1,500, no, I know.
Mm-mm.
okay, Clarendon Select Board, town meeting, survey, school consolidation update.
So they didn't do the survey because in talking with the other select boards, they said maybe a committee should be formed of people from each town to figure out what kind of a survey should be done, or if one should be done. To find out if, the Clarendon Select Board was trying to figure out a way to save some money. And that means consolidating schools, which would be, I think all of the students in the district right now would fit in Mill River. I mean, at one point, I think when Jesse and you guys were going there was 800 students at Mill River.
We had a
And now there's
huge
only
graduating
700
class.
students, total students, and
We had a huge graduating class.
there's 700 students in the whole district.
I mean, I think that there has to be an education process if this conversation is gonna continue, so that everybody understands
What that is gonna
what that
entail.
means and what historically happens when you consolidate.
So my thing on it is. And I know there's a lot of people that are gonna be for it and there's gonna be people that are gonna be against it, but they need to understand. You sign on to this. In 3 or 4 years down the road, you're gonna be financially back in the same boat you're in right now and you're gonna lost your school.
Right. Yeah, and
So they need. I am not a fan of this. It's a short-term fix to a long project for a long issue. And you are gonna end up back there financially. At some point.
And this school is bulging.
Yes, sir.
And
It's not like it used to be.
yeah, I
um,
mean, well, and
Right,
what,
but it might be that Wallingford needs to be closed.
right,
Yeah.
I mean,
But
we don't
I
need
just-
Wallingford and Clarendon elementary schools. I
Right.
said this at the very beginning, got my head chopped off. I said, hey, why do we have to fix the roof on both of these buildings? You know? At
Yeah.
that point, we'd all fit someplace else, but there is gonna be talk, amongst the state, around the state of what to do about school spending.
there is,
But anyways, so I talked to George Ambrose at the annual Mill River School District meeting that
Mhm.
Rick and I went to. We were one of less than 10 attendees. Half the school board didn't go either, but
Mm.
he said that they decided to pull back and wait until after town meeting, and they're gonna have a discussion and see if the towns wanna appoint some people to just talk about it, and, even before they go out and try to survey people to figure out.
But that
what's going on.
survey there was only 26 people there that got the survey. It wouldn't like how the town felt. So it'd have to be done in a different way. If you want to get everybody's input, not just.
Well, what they wanted
Right.
to do was, like at election times, have a survey to hand out. They wanted to do it at town meeting, so now they're thinking maybe in November. Enough people, enough voters there to at least provide them some information. With any survey, you have to be careful how you frame the questions. 'Cause
Right.
You can have the survey target answer the
Mhm.
way you want it. You have to figure out how to be neutral and
yep,
provide information, but not too much information. So that's where it's standing, and at some point they might write a letter back and say, hey, do you have anybody in Timoth that wants to talk to us about it?
Okay.
But there was no survey.
Yeah.
I mean, I know at some point this issue is gonna come from the state and,
Mhm.
Well, Robin alluded to it.
but it's just,
It hasn't worked very well in the past.
but you can do it and have a short-term fix. And then your school's gone and you're financially right back where you were.
Yeah. It's true.
Well, they can't get bus drivers enough now. They get enough.
Right.
Everybody's in Timoth.
Yeah, every day we're getting phone calls from Mill River. In short, bus consolidation routes and. Okay, planning, I did,
So,
oh, yeah,
we are busy working on entering all the information in the computer and getting the new values out and making sure that they're getting.
we'll take your time on it.
Yeah, but we have to have it done by, my target date is May 15th.
Of next year,
Officially, no, you want it for this year. Well,
okay,
your school taxes are gonna go up an extra 20%, 40% because of the CLA, if we don't get it done.
Yeah.
So all the site visits have been done, and maybe a quarter of these 450 parcels, about a quarter of those have been reviewed so far. Doug MacArthur took a couple of weeks off and went to Florida, so
Did he,
Now he's back and.
he didn't clear that with us. Okay, planning commission request to apply for MERP grant for energy planning.
Right, you adopted a policy that any committee that's gonna apply for a grant has to get select board approval.
Yes,
And so the planning commission's been meeting with Jeremy Gildrian from the regional planning commission about updating the energy
The
section of
enhanced
the income.
energy
In order
plan.
we have an enhanced energy plan, so we can apply for a grant for that. So that he can help the planning commission determine if we want an enhanced energy plan or just the energy section that we had from before. So the select board needs to grant permission to the planning commission to apply for it.
I will make a motion for the planning commission to apply for the MERP grant for planning annual appointments.
For the EEE.
Should I recuse myself from this one because I'm on that committee or no?
You don't, I don't think you have to recuse yourself, you don't have any financial
Yeah,
benefit or anything about it.
okay. Then I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Oy. Annual appointments. I'm going to go utilize that.
So I'd like to suggest for annual appointments when you get back. Yeah,
Hmm.
Also, we eclipse, so we're gonna get.
It's gonna be more direct, I think, like as a Plattsburgh, but it's gonna be pretty close in here. They've got
I've seen the map,
the map of where it's gonna go.
like northern Vermont is gonna get a
It's
better
gonna,
share.
it's gonna
of
be
it.
clearer, right?
Yeah, apparently they're selling tickets to go up there.
It's only 3 minutes long.
Right. Well, it takes an hour or something to get to that 3 minutes, and then it's 3 minutes long and works its way out.
Yeah, they're actually worried about how much traffic is gonna head north.
Oh, yeah.
They're planning for it already, like. I've already seen one. I don't know why everybody's so Twitter-pated about it.
well, just because you
Actually,
can
I've
get
seen a
it out to
couple.
the masses so much more now about it, yeah.
All we need to do is come up with something we can sell for the eclipse, you know.
They sell,
Tillamook t-shirt, clips on it.
you could probably sell tickets for people to go stand on your land and look up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First one that breaks his leg is you lost all your ticket money.
Mm.
You do it at the transfer station.
Okay.
and tell them the money.
Yeah, I'd just like to make a suggestion that, because I don't know all the people that have shown interest for the different things, so I'd just like to gather the names of people and think about it, and then we don't have to vote on it tonight, we can, yeah, we can.
We don't have to.
Yeah,
So there are, I did send out an email. We got a lot of responses.
mhm,
Most people are happy to keep doing it. We
Okay.
did get 2 people that are stepping down as a result of this inquiry, so that those vacancies have to be advertised.
Yeah.
You can't just appoint somebody,
Right.
you know, without it being public. The ones that we could appoint are Rainbow said she was getting off the planning commission. Jeff Ames said he was getting off the conservation commission. There are some vacancies that have never been filled since
Mhm.
last year.
mhm.
Most everybody wants to continue what they're doing, at least some of what they're doing.
Um,
Ann Lundquist has said she would like to be on the planning commission. She bought Tessa's house.
Yeah.
Cindy Pollock is willing to do something, not quite sure what.
Mhm.
so originally I was thinking earlier that,
And Todd Dennis is getting off of the website. So Todd and Bob's place, things need to be advertised as vacant.
Okay, so. So for me, I'd rather like advertise that, get the people that are interested in what they're interested in. And then
I have,
make more of a decision, yeah, cause I don't have anything to really go on right now. So, yeah,
You have those names, yes.
we're trying to find a list over here.
Okay.
It's right at the computer.
So,
I think it got moved. What Melody is telling me is she wants it ahead of time, so she can think about it before.
Mm.
I mean, most people could get reappointed if they want to leave the vacancies vacant. That might be, or you can just tell me.
so I was toying with the idea of,
Just people can serve until the.
dropping. This was an idea that I tossed out, but I was toying with the idea of suggesting dropping the E and I back to 5, but it seems to be there's 7 people on it currently.
mhm,
So,
6, low power doesn't always be.
okay,
so. Maybe we drop it back to 7, 6.
yeah, I was thinking
7?
7, I don't think we need the 10, yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think, I mean, if you've got 3 vacant and haven't filled it, might as well downsize a little
Yeah.
bit.
And I don't know where to put this, if would be a new business or anything, but what Meadow sent, cause she was going to work on that. A while back, and then she didn't, about having, like, I've looked at other towns, you know.
I have concerns about that. I think we're too small.
Mhm,
And if people are willing to serve, I think that's more important than necessarily an application.
Well, I did suggest that earlier, but there's the application thing, because how did you explain that to me?
Well, you had said, get applications from people that are interested in something, and if there's an opening, they can get appointed. It's like I said at the beginning of the meeting.
Right, you still
because-
have to put it
Because
out.
Lotar and Todd and Bob
mhm.
just withdrew, that has to be advertised at the
Right.
vacancy so that anybody can.
So you still have to, so even if we did do application stuff,
Lotar's been posted and so has.
you still have to put it out. So you can't kind of,
Conservation Commission, Planning Commission vacancies have already been posted.
so they still have to be posted, so you really can't kind of. Fall back onto an application thing if it has to be posted anyway.
Right.
It'd be weird. I don't think it would
Most
work.
everybody that's, if you go through the list, I can tell you who's yes, who's no. If you want me to put that all in writing so you can have it in April, I can do that.
Yeah, I'd prefer that personally, so, yeah. And I don't,
So do we want to wait until April to motion the downsizing of E and I, or
No, you can do that too.
do you want to do that tonight?
Yeah,
yeah,
I'll move that we reduce the number of E and I committee members down to 7.
yeah, I was thinking,
All in favor?
Aye.
And then, would you also want to hold off on appointing?
Do we have that list or?
She doesn't,
As we're going down through here, before the Board of Adjustment, Bob Lloyd just said no, so that's a vacancy that has to be, that can't be filled.
Advertised.
can't be advertised,
Right.
yeah.
Rainbow wants off the planning commission,
So
and
that just
Lundquist
got-
said she would be willing to do. Be on the planning commission, but she said if that is full, she would be willing to do something else as well.
Right,
Well, that'd be one of the planning commission as well.
right. So,
So how long is the advertisement period for?
It just has to be posted for
Okay,
a couple of days or something, so.
so let me just put it, let me just do April.
yeah,
we could do that.
Mary Johnson said with the Regional Transportation Council, she's willing to continue, but she thinks it really should be somebody else that's. Sherry, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, most of the people that attend the meeting are either town managers, road commissioners, they're people who have background on transportation. I learn a lot, but I think Timoth would be better served if there was somebody who had a background in transportation, to go to the meetings. You don't have to go in person. If you go in person, you get dinner.
Well, they used to give cookies.
And I
What's
think,
the-
I don't know what they serve, but I think it's pizza or something.
How often do they meet?
They meet once a month. I think it's the fourth Thursday of the month. It's at 5, it's like 5:30 and we're done by 6:45.
If it was steak, I'd consider it.
Is that something you might be interested in?
Yeah, I mean, if Eric's not, I guess I'd be interested in it. Did you want to ask Eric or?
You could.
You want me to see if I can get hold of them? Or do you wanna just wait and ask?
Depends how you want this whole thing to go.
We could technically wait.
Because I can tell you who said no. Most everybody said yes. But the no's were Todd and Lotar and Bob. Bob wants to do the other things, but with the Board of Adjustment. He's having trouble with mobility. He
Mhm.
can't come and do the site visits.
Mm.
Toby Lewis is happy to be a fence viewer. Michael Fannon's happy to be aware of all. We do need to try to get, somebody's gonna be on the energy committee. I gotta look at my emails.
But yeah, I didn't know if that was something Cindy wanted to do.
Pardon?
I didn't know if that was something Cindy wanted to do, if she wasn't sure what she wanted to do.
Yeah, I think it is how it was. Even looking at it.
It's, like second to last, third to last. piece of
Yeah.
paper in the packet.
For then. Like, probably, but it's-
Well, Cindy inquired about the safety and wellness committee, and she decided that wasn't for her.
Yeah. Well, do you want me to ask Cindy about the energy committee?
Let me just see if I can figure out. She says, thanks for the info, though. Doesn't seem up my alley, unfortunately. If there's another committee that you think might be a good fit, let me know. Search this. And Lundquist said, I'd be very interested in serving on the planning commission if possible. If that's not available, I'd be interested in conservation commission or the energy commission.
Okay.
And Wilbur wants to be on the old creamery committee. And Bert's happy with what he's doing.
Mhm.
Jennifer Truffle wants to stay on the website committee. As far as I know, Todd wants to stay, the only one Todd wants off of is the website committee. There's some-
Website.
a couple of other things.
So who's on the website committee?
Sorry, what?
It's on the backside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I am
God.
Zach, Jennifer, Trish.
Okay.
Judy Gilmore, I don't know who that is.
Troublemaker.
All right. Well, it sounds like we have a couple vacancies on the planning commission, a couple people that are interested.
We only have one vacancy.
There's one vacancy, both Andy and Pat Michelle want to stay on
Oh,
the
okay.
planning commission. But Rainbow wanted off.
Hmm.
Some of these things,
And
the health
Andy's
officers
thing.
are appointed by the
Yeah.
state. And Colin is appointed by the Rutland Free Library. We don't actually make that selection. David Birdsall's happy to be an animal control officer.
I had just a question, different, but, are the fire wardens, would they not be on this list?
They're appointed by the state.
Oh, they're appointed by the state, okay.
Yeah, they do, it comes to the select board, so they don't really approve, but they're advised or
Okay.
they can make a recommendation.
Okay,
Glenn used to bring us a paper that the select board had to sign,
yeah.
and it's a 3-year appointment.
So, so do you wanna hold off on doing this until April, or do you wanna go ahead and approve the ones that aren't changing, the ones that are? I mean, we could just do some of them that aren't like. That there's no vacancies that are gonna stay the way they are, or do you wanna wait and do them all?
I mean, people that are staying on, like, their time is up, but they said that they wanna stay. Like Ed and, Tracy and,
Right, those people have 3-year terms, everybody else is a 1-year term,
mhm,
so. You can hold the vacancy for the planning commission.
yep,
You can't do the board of adjustment yet.
right.
Or the website committee. And E and I can't add somebody to that quite yet.
So to me, it just makes sense to just wait until we've, listed the new openings, and then find out who's interested, and then vote on it in April. Vote on names in April.
So you have 2 people interested for one position on the planning commission, so you'll have to figure out if you're gonna interview them or what you're gonna do.
Right.
Years ago, maybe 20 years ago, there was a little application process. Just for the planning commission, not for other offices, but
Mhm.
when we were having that whole discussion about.
So I guess we could interview them in executive session.
Well, I know when they approached me, they kind of interviewed me at the planning commission. It was
Wow.
between me and one other guy, and then
Mhm.
can't remember, did the planning commission make a recommendation to the select board, or did they just say these 2 people applied?
I think the planning commission might have, I think they.
Cause I showed up to a meeting and they did sort of interview me,
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
so maybe,
So
I
we
mean,
could,
I'm on it, but maybe kick it back to the planning
we could
commission.
invite these 2 people to next week's planning commission meeting. And
Mhm,
yeah, they could make a recommendation, the select board doesn't have to follow it, but.
Right.
I'm fine with that.
yeah,
I'm fine with that. It's your commission, I mean. I think you should have some say in who's on it.
And it might be that somebody else will step down if they know.
Right,
Somebody else wants to get on,
right. Okay,
or it might
Okay.
be that one of the candidates will say, oh, I just assumed to be on the Conservation Commission is. Everything else with the Energy Committee.
okay.
All right. So would you make a motion to table this until April and get all the,
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. all right, well, I'll make a motion to table the appointments and advertise the ones that just became vacant until the April 11th meeting, is that correct? April 11th? Yep. Yeah.
Yes, yep.
Now, would you rather I reach out to Eric about the,
You can, I
Okay.
tried calling, but yeah, no, you absolutely can.
yeah, I can do that.
Yep,
Do we need a second?
Oh, sorry.
I'll second it. All in favor?
I,
Aye, okay.
I missed that. I think it's-
A motion to do the appointments, April 11th.
Yeah, table the appointments until April and once all the advertised, all the vacancies have been advertised, and we have a list of all the interested people, the different appointments.
housing rehab discharges.
Huh?
That's what it
I
says.
didn't get the mortgage discharges.
Oh,
One the board approved a couple of months ago and one just got paid off. So we need to discharge that one.
what's that entail? What does that entail, doing
What does that entail?
the discharges?
You just have to approve it and then somebody signs it. And then the mortgage gets discharged and the liability. Like when you pay the town was a bank for
Got ya,
these rehab loans that.
Yeah.
give people septic and wells and putting these on and stuff. It was done back in the early nineties. It was supposed to be paid off in 15 years, but they were also allowed to pay what they could afford.
oh, now I know what that is,
And so
okay,
some of them had, were able to pay it off sooner, and some of them had to take an extra thing out when their furnace cab, so they
Yeah.
had an extension to it. So
yep, and we
Mhm.
forgave one or two of
We,
them.
we forgave one. But there's still a couple that are out there, though. If the property sells, the town should get it.
Um.
Man, this isn't even, I mean.
It's not bad, I mean,
We've had longer ones.
yeah, okay, eclipse event planning,
Oh, I just put that on there because the League of Cities and Towns keeps sending information about eclipse planning. Teresa Dana is planning something in the churchyard. She's got glasses and stuff for kids to come and. But other places are, making big fun days and all kinds.
oh, wow.
Yeah, we had at Mill River, was it my senior year, there was an eclipse and they let us go outside and stare at the sun.
No glasses,
No, they didn't.
so
have
that's what
glasses.
happened, that's what happened to your class.
That's why they consolidated.
Well, according to this particular kind of eclipse, it's not supposed to happen for another generation, and the last time it happened was back in the 30s or something, so.
Wow,
I'm not sure
Wow.
what makes a particular kind of eclipse.
so what are you gonna just put it out in the tails or front porch forum or something and say that it's, oh, nice,
It's in tails,
sweet,
and I think Teresa's put something in some porch corner. I just wanted you to know.
yeah. Okay. Town meeting voting results are in the packet.
Yeah, I just thought it would be
Yes.
interesting to see the variety
Numbers.
of people that voted
Yeah.
yes or voted no.
Mhm.
No, I appreciated that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's great.
Counted some of them, but you see the whole thing in totality. It's
Yeah, no, that
the
was,
milfoil only squeaked by with
Mhm.
13 votes. but-
so coming back to that, you said that we should consider doing the insurance money.
There are some things in that list that you might, when you're working on your budget in the fall, like we really need to be a part of the League of Citizen
Yeah.
Towns in order to get our health insurance.
So I don't think,
So that might not be a good thing to let people say,
Right.
we don't want to. pay
no,
that
so I
because
think we should probably put that as a,
that's a big
stable.
discussion
Yeah,
At budget time.
I know there are some people, this is just an idea. So I know there are some people in town that are not big on the funding of milfoil. But taking into consideration the tax that's covered by that, I'm wondering if that's something that we should consider doing also.
I
I
think
don't-
you should have the milfoil people explain it better.
Yeah, because from what
Okay.
it was at the town meeting, it sounded like they're paying their fair taxes compared to everybody else, and the milfoil is just an added bonus for them.
Well, they are, this year I think we're spending over $25,000 and the town is giving 2,500, so the people at the lake have to come up with all the rest of that money.
But the way they explained the property tax, it sounded like they were on average along with everybody else,
Right.
so that was the part that
That
confused
was-
me.
I will explain that better in private.
Okay.
So it was just an idea. We're just putting it out there.
But when we're doing the budget, reviewing the budget.
Okay.
That's when we'll
Okay,
say, yeah,
Alright.
probably should put this here, put that there.
okay,
In fact, if they all got approved, they don't have to do it every year.
right,
You know.
right,
and I think like with the VLCT, you know, that question that, that article is just, I don't think people understand, you know?
Right.
right.
You know, they're just not educated about how do you educate them about how important that actually is to the town, so. Yeah,
But I think the majority of towns in the state do it this way. The league does workshops every year on how to write those, how to write the warnings properly and how to, you know, you can't put anything in there to influence it one way or another. You know?
Yeah.
So it's,
So if we just put it in as a staple thing that gets paid. When we do our budget. Next year,
right, we can discuss
Yeah.
what really, it should be part of the budget. And what
Yes.
yeah, I agree with that.
If
Okay.
you wanna pull some stuff in.
Yep.
Make them send in requests or, you know, there are some towns where they have to get a petition in order to get on the ballot.
mm-hmm,
And there are some towns that say, no, you don't have to have the petition, we don't require them to get a petition in once they've been approved.
Well, and I think part of the, you know, in counting the ballots, you know, some people just didn't turn the page over, you know, so like
Yeah,
the
but-
library was on the second
Right.
side and I think that they lost more than they would have because of that, you know, so. But
okay,
But on
Uh.
the whole, I think people were happy to be able to have a say.
yeah, no, and that's
Everything passed, but at least they had an opportunity.
to see it,
To voice their
Yeah.
Right.
opinion.
Use their
No.
opinion.
and that
Um,
is important.
and going forward. Maybe we tweak it a little bit. I'd still like to introduce it to the people in the town, but we maybe tweak it a different way and,
It
I
maybe just
don't
plan
know.
it a little bit earlier too, to say,
right,
this
Yeah.
actually is how this group impacts our town.
right, yes,
This actually is how this group impacts our county, maybe not Timoth, because I highly doubt some of them actually impact Timoth, but I would agree they probably impact Rutland County.
right, and that can be
Statutorily,
important too.
they have to have a direct impact to people in Tinmouth, if you
Mhm.
want to get really technical.
Um,
about it. But it's,
But yeah, too, right, yeah, explaining each one, it might be a huge benefit to
Yeah.
people in town.
there are some
And how
towns
it-
that put the little blurbs provided by the vendors, companies, in the town report.
Yeah, Middletown does that,
So we might just
Um,
make the town report bigger and let.
yeah.
Have them do
people if
it.
they wanna-
Mhm.
Yeah, and not necessarily that we're gonna vote on it again next year, but just so that they can,
Yeah.
just so people in town know what they're doing.
I think it was short notice. this
It
year,
was.
Yeah.
And then no way to find out.
Right, it was, so, I mean, maybe next year. A while prior to it, just give
Mhm.
everybody the chance to. I mean, maybe not vote on it again next year, I don't know, but just so that everybody has understanding of
Yeah.
what each
So
they do.
these folks all get their checks from next year's budget. We'll put a little blurb in there
Okay.
about town meeting and the town report, and if they wanna
Yeah.
send something, they need to send something.
Can we strongly encourage them to send something?
Yeah.
Ernie Bully used to make them send a bill before he went out and ordered to pay them. And then we got past that and we just started sending them out, but sometimes the checks come back because the place moved and they didn't tell anybody. or,
Right, and see, that's the thing too.
Vermont Conservation Commission didn't cash their check, and then somebody else, takes their paperwork for them now, and it's.
Yeah, so we really need to get a,
We need to tighten up the
Yes.
accountability on,
yep,
some of them are pretty obvious, but some of them are spacey.
yep,
And it's interesting, looking at other towns, like I read Dewsbury's town report and maybe Wells or Paulette and Middletowns, is they give to different people than we do. I mean, some of us all give to the same, but some of them have different people that have petitioned them or asked to have them give money to them.
huh. Oh. Okay, members' concerns. Anybody concerned about anything?
Anybody out there?
It's just
concerned?
us.
Members.
It's just
Oh,
us.
members, I'm sorry. Community members.
Okay, miscellaneous correspondence by mail, none. Anybody need an executive session?
Mhm.
I kind of hope not at this hour, but.
I do.
You too, okay.
It's
Then you
probably.
could be the only one.
I'll be the only one in there. I'm glad you all.
Door tomorrow.
Be in there sleeping. Okay, so next meeting is April 11th, 7 o'clock. And meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
You got quite a few people there, at least the fire department.
Huh?
It's only
9.
9?
9.
Well, I plan on tracking them down. and-
I just like to ask why.
Right.
We get,
There was only 2 people that voted no on everything.
And that's just because they didn't want to waste the time reading it. They just went through it. and-
Middletown, we get 75,000.
Yeah,
Are we stopping the
Wrong with-
recording?
she did now.
Not that we want